Adeswa Oni, the stepped up nurse, and I'm the founder of Pregnancy Support Foundation. So today you want to learn how to make reusable pads. We started empowering women on how to make reusable pads since January 2025, and it's been an amazing journey since then. So we usually go from state to state, different states in Nigeria, to empower women, to teach them on how to make reusable pads. But since 2021, which was about 4 years ago, we started medical outreaches, and we usually go to the communities for outreaches. So we added this training program, this empowerment program, to the outreaches. So when we do the outreaches, we do health education for the pregnant women or women of childbearing age in the community, or to students in SS3. We educate them about pregnancy. For the students, we educate them about prevention of teenage pregnancy, sexual purity, and then we check their blood pressure. We check we do urinalysis for them to check for protein, and then we do blood sugar for them, depending on the situation and availability of funds. The procedures we carry out for them depends on the availability of funds. Then we give them medications that for free. We give them gifts, packages, delivery packages for free, right? And then sometimes we give them refreshments. So this is an extra package that we offer to them, that's teaching them how to make reusable pads. Actually, I never knew anything about reusable pads for a very long time, till late last year, I think December last year, and then this January we started 2025. We started including it in our medical outreaches, right? So that women will be empowered, because yes, we know that every month you have to do your menstrual cycle. You have to go through your menstrual cycle and have your menstruation, whether you have money or not. Menses will come except you're pregnant, and we know the price of disposable pads nowadays. So we decided to use this as an empowerment for these women, so that they can always make it themselves. We teach them how to disinfect it and how to use it safely, right? Yeah, I did not know it was possible till I saw other NGOs that enlightened women on how to do this, right? So we are going to use this opportunity to teach us how to make it, right? So we are using 3 layers of materials for the procedure. This material is going to be used for the base layer, right? We are going to use a sample always pad to do the cutting, but this is going to be the base layer, this is going to be the middle layer, right? And this is going to be the top layer. This is going to be the top layer. Now we are using this as a top layer. This is Ankara material. This is just an example. You cannot always use any colorful material that is also absorbent and that is pure cotton, right? So if you're not using Ankara, you can use anything that has those properties for the top. And we use a colorful material so that when there's blood stain over the years and the stain is not deciding to go, it will not show. But if you use a plain material, hard soft stains may show over time. So this is the middle layer, right? You can use a material that soaks up content, that soaks up water, that is very good, that soaks up water very well. So we went through the market and we decided to provide using a bedsheet material, right? So you can use a bedsheet material for that. And then this is leather material that is impermeable. You have to use a material that does not easily soak through with water, that water will not easily soak through. So went through the market also, and we try to get one to achieve that purpose, right? So this will be used as the base layer, this will be used as middle layer, and this will be used as top layer. To make them, we decided to teach them how to make it with their hands, in case they say they don't have money to approach a tailor to make it for them. so they'll be able to sit at home and make it themselves. So this is a sample of one that has been done in the past, and we are still going to use this opportunity to teach us how to make it, right? These are the wings. There's a button to hold it down. Okay, so there's a button to hold it down behind the panties, and this is how it's going to look on the pants, right? So for people that have heavy flow, you can decide to double up your middle layer. You can double and triple and quadruple it so that it will be thicker, right? Some people like the idea and decide to be using it for their nighttime flows. You can decide to use it in daytime or in the night time, whichever way works for you, it's fine, right? So now we are going to be cutting, but the other things we'll be needing for making it with our hand, within 30 minutes to 1 hour you are done, depending on how fast you are in sewing, right? Some of us are not so fast. Then if you decide to take it to the tailor, it's also very fine. You can take it to the tailor to make it for you. Within 10 minutes they are done sewing it. These are the press buttons that will put behind it, right? And then this safety pin to hold this in place, to hold the top, middle and base layer in place while you are sewing, so that it doesn't scatter. And this is the thread and the needle. We have already put some thread in the needle. Now this thread is very long and is doubled. We intentionally decided to double it up instead of putting a single layer, right? So it's doubled and it's long enough, but we have made copies, about 4 of them, so that we don't easily run out of thread to use while we are making the sewing. Kudos to our staff. She's really amazing. It's really amazing. So now let's get right into it. So we want to start now. So I've done the initial explanation. What we need to do is cutting now, right? This is pad. We decided to sacrifice one disposable pad to use for measurements because we want it to be easy for everyone to understand, right? But if you don't have a pad to sacrifice, you can decide to measure, right? So let me measure for us so that we will know. The length we are using is 13 because some people have heavy flow and some people they need the distance from front to back, right? Some of us bleed only in the middle, while some people will bleed to the north and to the south and then to the east and the west. So we want it to be long enough for everyone. So this is 13, right? And then we are using 13, and then for this we are using 8. This is more than the always. This one is short. This is Vironi. I believe it is short. It will not be enough to put the clips because we need to put clips behind, and then we have to add sewing allowance to it, 0.5. So we've made it 8. That's from here to here. I believe you can see the always from beginning to the end, right? If you can see it from beginning to the end, please drop a comment in the comment section that you can see it from beginning to the end, from the top. I want us to also note that when you look at your always part properly, the front part of the pad is always shorter, and then the back part is always longer. So that's how we are going to cut this one too. The front part will be shorter, right? And then the back part will be longer, right? So we have agreed that we are using 13 inches for this one, right, for the length, and then 8 inches for the breadth. So now under it we have put the top and bottom layer, right? This is the top and bottom layer. So I'm going to be cutting both together so that the top and bottom layer will be identical, will be the same, right? So let's start the cutting now. I want to use 13 centimeters, right? This is 13 centimeters. So I'll start from the edge. This is the edge. This is the edge of our 6 yards of Ankara, the very edge. So when you buy the Ankara, you can just start that way. So let's start the cut. So I'm cutting now, and I'm giving the space of 8 centimeters, right? 8 inches, I mean, sorry, 8 inches. So this is 8 inches. Now try and hold it down. So I held it down so that it will not move away. And then to be easy for the press button to be applied. So make sure as you are cutting, nothing is shifting, because some materials will just keep shifting. That's the importance of the pins. So use the pins to hold it in place so that they don't keep moving. If they shift, you would have been done cutting before you discovered that you just cut nonsense. So it's good to hold it down. Right, so I'm holding all the important edges. So later I'll remove the pin. So the only place I shifted my hand forward is here, so that will make up the 8 inches, right? That was the only place I shifted my hand forward. Every other place, okay, this place too, so that will make up the 14 inches. So I can also start cutting from here, right? You can make it form that shape, that always shape. So we go straight now. Okay. So now, like I said, some materials keep shifting. This one is already shifting. That's the base layer. I want to trim it so that it will be equal. Okay, so I'm using the edge. So continue like this. If you make any mistake in the cutting, I believe you know that the hardest part of making a clothes is cutting, but it's actually very easy. Don't let me scare you. Very, very, very easy. So I want to increase it here too, because we have 14 inches to 13 inches here, right? So this is 13 here, right? This is 13, and then I'm bringing it down here because of those of us that have, if you know, always the blue color of always is actually longer than the pink. Am I correct? The blue always is longer than the pink one. For us that have heavy flow, some of us want the blue one, but the blue one has 7 pieces inside, while the pink one has 8 pieces. So I'm nearly done cutting. We are done. So we have cut the front and back, just the middle layer to go. The cutting of the middle layer is different. So now here we go, right? This is it. Front and back layer done, right? Done. And you see the way I slanted my hand, because you need the slanting, you know, you need that slanting effect, because when blood wants to seep, it will seep this from this layer and this layer, from this corner here and this corner here. Blood always seeps. Let me hold this one too. And then blood also seeps from this corner and this corner. So imagine you're always being like this and like this, right? Like this and like this, right? So because we want it to be longer than this one, that's why we made it longer. So here we go, cutting over. So just the middle layer to cut now. So I'm going to make the middle layer now. This is the middle layer. We have separated the front and back layer. So whatever it is you're cutting, make sure it tallies with the back layer. Make sure it tallies with the back layer, right? Make sure it's not bigger than the back layer. So we are not calculating the hand, that's the wings. We are not calculating the wings while doing the cutting. Now for the middle layer, you are folding it over and over and over so that the always will be thick in the middle. So now I'm measuring the middle, right? This is 4.4 inches, 4.3 inches. The front is 4 inches, right? But the important thing is the folding. 4 times 3. We want to fold it over 3 times. So I'm going to do 4 times 3. So remove it. And then I want to fold it over 1, 2. You can fold it 4 times, you can fold it 5 times, depending on how thick you want your pad to be, right? If you want your pad to be really thick, you can keep folding. So you can do it this way. And then if you are doing for the whole outreach, you just cut the whole length, then divide for each person, right? If you are going to be divided into 4 groups or 5 groups, just cut the whole length of the material you bought so that you won't just keep cutting in bits and pieces, right? So this is how it's going to be. I think this is good enough. Then I now cut. Okay, so I have to check the length, 13 centimeter. This 13 centimeter. Then I want it to be exactly the same thing. Actually, that's why I'm tracing it out, right? So for the edges, we can also trace it. This edge is here. If you don't trace it, you end up sewing a square instead of sewing circular movements in the corners. So now it's following the exact shape. So I want, it doesn't matter, since it's the middle layer, it doesn't matter if it's the middle, if it's the inside of the always or the back, right? So let's refold it. I'm folding it back. Right? So you can cut for 4 people at the same time or 5 people, depending on the length of your material. So here we go. Okay. Now you have to check the back so that when you turn, this is the base layer, the red one, and then this colorful one is the middle layer. So we want to sew the middle layer and the base, right? So this is the right part. So let's turn the right part. I like the right part to be out, right? This is the right part. Then the wrong side will be behind, so that when you turn, the wrong side will come up, right? This way, this is the right side. When I turn, this back will come behind. So you want to start sewing now. You've put the middle layer. So what you are going to do is that the middle layer you are sewing, every material you buy has a right side. That's the side that is outside. This is the right side. Then the wrong side is the one inside, right? So the wrong side will be the one facing up. It will be the one facing up. Then you put your material on top of it. Now we are sewing these two people together. So when we are done sewing these two people together, the next thing is we put this front layer face to face. This is the face. We put face to face together, right? This face, this is the face. So when we put face to face together, we'll turn. Then you have your pad. So don't worry, you will understand. Just follow me. Just make sure that when you are sewing, the inside, that is the wrong side of your base layer, this base layer, the wrong side is facing you upwards, right? So now let's pin it together so that it will not be shaking around the place, right? So I'm pinning it now. So now we sew, right? Let me just pin this one in the middle. The sewing will be easy. Okay, so now we have pinned it all together, right? This is the good side, the right side. That's what to be facing us like this, but the wrong side will be the one on the table facing upwards. So let's start sewing now. So you can decide to start sewing from the top, right? Make sure that when you are putting in, you have tied the base, you have doubled and tied the base. But if you don't tie the base, it will just pass through as you are sewing. So you sew as close to the edge as possible, right? I'm trying to put in many seams at once. So you can see I've started the process of sewing, right? So I'm going to sew it all the way through this middle part, round about. I'm sewing the middle layer to the base layer, right? I'm sewing it round like this. So that's how it's going to go. So let's continue, right? So I believe you can see the sewing. Let me just continue so that you see. You put it in this way, right? You put it in this way. Just try and make sure that the distance is equal. You put it in this way, make sure it gets to the back, and then you bring it back up, right? Then you put it in this way, you bring it up back. You put it in this way, bring it up back. Hold on there for me. Then when we're about doing video, I'll tell them not to talk. Sorry, there are sometimes they don't talk actually. And if he gives them work to do and they're still battling with it, well, okay, so I'm done with the sewing round, right? See, I've sewn the middle layer and the back layer, the base layer together, and this is the end of my thread. So I'm going to cut my thread now and secure, right? I'll cut it off and then secure this one. You divide into two like this and tie. You tie again a second time, and then you cut the excess off. Then you remove all the pins. Please don't leave the pin there so that the pin will not choke your bum bum. So next thing, this is the outside, the face. So you turn the cloth face to face. This is the face of the pad, and this is on the face of the top. You face it face to face, and then you sew round. You sew round. You sew round. You sew round this part, round and round and round and round and round and round this part. Then when you are sewing, you leave a space that you will not sew. I would prefer you leave that space at the edge here. I would prefer you leave it so that it will, when you put the press button, it will cover up for that space, right? Leave a space here that you will not sew. So you can start sewing here, go around and stop sewing here, right? When you stop sewing here, you turn the clothes out, right? So let's go. Let's start another round of sewing round. So I'm going to start sewing here, right? I'm starting right away. I'm starting from this edge, then I'll stop at this edge, right? That's the wings, one of the wings, right? I'm sewing the back, the front and the back together now. This is the middle layer going with it because we have sewn the middle layer already before. So we continue. Right, so you just continue right until we are done. So we are done sewing the front and the back together. You can see the sewing, right? So now this is the allowance we left. This is the place we didn't sew, right? You can see we did not sew it, so that's where we are going to turn. We'll turn it out. This is turning, so you get the front of your pad. I'm really happy that we've been able to do this and capture it. We've actually done it in the past, but it was scattered. It was scattered, and it was not saved. So now we have it all saved. So now I've turned it out, and here we go. So you just use pen. You can use your scissors to push it out. Push out the edges. You need to push out the edges. So when you are sewing, let your seams be closed so that there won't be holes. So this is our pad, and this is where we put our press button. Yes, so we are going to cover up this space now. That's the last thing to do. I'll use this remaining So we'll turn in the edges. We'll not leave the edges flat. We'll just turn it in like this. So turn it in so that it will look neat. And then you sew. You start from the place you stopped, right? So you have to do it in a way that will be neat. Start from the back. This is the back of the pad. Get closer. I'm trying to close up the space that we used to turn, the space we used to turn the edges. You can make this hole smaller for you when you are doing yours. You can make the hole smaller, but to be trickier to turn. So I'm trying to put in the edges. See, edges are turned in so that it will be neat. You have to tuck it in. If you don't tuck it in, it won't be neat. So we are done with covering the edge. And see, the edge is fully covered. So you cut and then you tie. Should have finished it at the back. Or should have been better to finish it up at the back. Like at the back of the. So when you are doing your own, you can put the last. That's this place at the back. Okay, so the next thing is to put the button, and that's the last part. So now this is the front of the pad where the menstrual blood will be on. So you have to calculate it well so that you won't put the button in the wrong place, right? So you see, we can even still increase the inches. We did 8, right? We did 8 for the inches, so you can even make it 9 so that it will be long enough. If we had followed the exact measurements for the always, we will not even be here, right? So you can increase it. So now we are going to sew this one here. You have to sew it in a way that it would cover. So that means that this one will be here, and then this one will be here, right? So let's sew this one to this place. So you start from here. Make sure you have tied the edge. This edge is not tied, so let me tie it. Okay, it's tied actually. I tied it. So let's go in. Okay, sorry, I have to go through this part. Go through this part first. Then you put in. Make sure it goes through the hole. then you now put it through another hole. See, then you go through another hole. There's another hole now, right? You secure all the 4 holes. The first button has 3 holes, so you secure the 3 holes. See, can go in again. Can double up all the holes, right? I'm trying to double everything. So this is the last one, so we'll cut now. So we are done. We are done applying the. There's a button, and then this is the back, right? This is the front. So this is where it will close. This one will be here. This one will close into this one, right? And seal, so that it will hold the pants. It will stay on the pants, right? So now we are putting this one. Okay, so let's go in. Make sure it's at the middle. Then you pass it through the second hole. This is another hole. Pass it through the other hole. Okay, secure. I want to secure the last seam. So let me cut. Let me tie one more time. So when you are done sewing, you wash and spread. That's the style of disinfection. Ask them to wash, soak it, rinse off all the blood first, maybe under running water or under a lot of water. Soak. After rinsing off all the surface blood, soak it for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes soaking, right, this is the always, and I think this is long enough for anybody to use. Trying to bring out the edges. These are all the edges, right? So this is long enough for anybody, and it's secured behind the pants, right? So if you want to be thicker, the middle layer you make it thicker. That's all. So like I was saying about disinfection, you rinse out all the blood. Some people say, I cannot touch it, just put it in water, let the blood will seep out. Then next thing, just like your clothes that is soaked, if your clothes is soaked with blood, you wash it, you cannot throw it away. So you just drop it in water, all the blood will seep off. Then you drop it in another bucket of water, either maybe warm water, and then you put soap, that's detergent, soak it for 30 minutes, then wash in another clean water, then sun dry. You can put it with a clip. If you hang it like this with a clip, nobody will even know it's a pad, right? If you even hang it like this with a clip, nobody will know it's a pad. It looks presentable. And then when it's dry, you can decide to iron it, right? Iron the surface, just like some of us iron our panties and our underwears before we wear it. So that's it. I'm happy that we finally done this. So that's the end of making reusable pad and disinfecting. Please take everyone that is with you through the process, right, of sewing this. You can teach your friends and you can teach your family members how to make it. Thank you so much, everyone. God bless us.